When the Indiana Fever drafted Caitlin Clark, it wasn't just a basketball move. It was a seismic shift in the entire WNBA landscape. Clark wasn't coming in as a rookie. She was entering as a phenomenon, a brand, and a cultural movement wrapped in sneakers and jump shots. And while the Fever saw dollar signs and headlines, their head coach Stephanie White saw something else, a ticking time bomb. Because when an owner like Steve Simon starts handing full control to one player, especially one who hasn't even finished her first full season, there's only one way this story can go: chaos. And that's exactly what's brewing behind the scenes in Indiana. From the moment Clark arrived, things changed. Every press conference, every practice, every camera flash revolved around her. The Fever, once just another struggling team, suddenly became the WNBA's golden ticket. Ticket sales skyrocketed, national broadcasts tripled, and Simon's business instincts went into overdrive. To him, Caitlin wasn't just the face of the franchise, she was the franchise. Her jersey outsold every player in the league combined. She brought in sponsors, media coverage, and fans who had never watched a women's basketball game before. To a businessman like Simon, the math was simple. Caitlin Clark equaled power, and power should be given to the one who brings the profits. But for Stephanie White, the decision was nothing short of betrayal. White had been working tirelessly to mold a cohesive team, one that could rise above the chaos and finally compete. She preached discipline, unity, and culture, the core values that make any team thrive. Yet as Clark's influence grew, White's authority quietly faded. Simon began approving marketing campaigns directly through Clark's team instead of the Fever's media department. Practice schedules were rearranged to accommodate media requests. Even in team meetings, decisions that once went through White were now run by Clark's management before final approval. The message was clear. This was Caitlin's world now, and everyone else was just living in it. It didn't take long before the cracks started showing. Veteran players noticed the shift first. Locker room dynamics grew tense as Clark's voice seemed to carry more weight than the coaching staff's. Players whispered about two chains of command, one led by Stephanie White and the other led by Caitlin Clark's camp. White tried to keep her cool, telling reporters that everything was fine, that the team was finding its rhythm, but insiders say the frustration was mounting. One staff member reportedly said that White felt like a substitute teacher in her own classroom, watching as her star pupil ran the lesson plan. The tension reached its peak when Steve Simon began intervening directly in basketball matters, something owners rarely do. He'd sit in on practices, offer opinions on player rotations, and even suggest who should get more touches during key stretches. What made it worse? Those suggestions almost always favored Caitlin Clark. Stephanie White, who had built her reputation on structure and leadership, suddenly found herself overridden at every turn. Simon saw it as maximizing his investment. White saw it as dismantling the foundation of her team. Behind closed doors, the coaching staff began to fracture. Some assistants sided with White, believing that no player should hold that much sway. Others quietly admitted that Simon's approach made sense from a business standpoint. After all, Caitlin Clark was selling out arenas. She had the backing of Nike, Gatorade, and half the sports world watching her every move. But on the court, chemistry doesn't care about marketing. Leadership can't be shared between a coach and a player. It has to be earned. And the imbalance was becoming impossible to ignore. Things only got worse after Simon's rumored attempt to trade for Angel Reese. That move, many believe, was meant to boost the Fever's star power even more, but it backfired spectacularly. When the rumors leaked that Clark's camp had concerns about the move, it became obvious to everyone where the real authority lay. Stephanie White reportedly confronted front office staff demanding clarity. If she was the head coach, why were decisions being filtered through a player's management team? She received no clear answers. Simon brushed off her frustrations, calling it a misunderstanding, but the truth was out. Caitlin Clark wasn't just a player anymore. She was now part of the decision-making process, a shadow general manager with the owner's blessing. From that moment, White's control slipped further away. Practices became more about managing personalities than preparing for games. Media narratives framed every small disagreement as a power struggle. White couldn't bench Clark without creating headlines. She couldn't discipline her without drawing online backlash. Even fans started taking sides. Social media was flooded with debates, some claiming Clark deserved that level of control because of her generational talent, others arguing it was destroying the very integrity of the sport. And in the middle of it all stood Stephanie White, watching the team she built turn into a brand she no longer recognized. It's not that White disliked Clark, far from it. She respected her skill, her fire, her ability to shift the culture of women's basketball. But respect and control are two very different things. White knew that once an organization hands over the keys to one player, it becomes nearly impossible to take them back. Every decision, every play call, every post-game quote would now orbit around Clark. The Fever weren't being built around a system. They were being built around a single. Personality insiders say the locker room has become a quiet battlefield. Some players are fiercely loyal to Clark, believing she's the future of the game. Others privately side with White, frustrated by what they see as favoritism. A few even questioned whether they were playing for the Indiana Fever or for Team Clark. Meanwhile, Steve Simon seems unbothered. He measures success in ticket revenue and media coverage, and by those metrics, his gamble is paying off. The Fever are the most talked about team in the league. But on the inside, the pressure cooker is reaching its limit. Stephanie White's recent interviews have only added fuel to the fire. Her tone has shifted, more cautious, more controlled. She avoids mentioning Clark by name when discussing leadership or team direction, choosing instead to speak broadly about staying focused and managing expectations. It's the language of someone who knows her authority is slipping, but refuses to admit defeat publicly. Privately, though, those close to her say she's reached her breaking point. She feels undermined, overruled, and boxed in by a system that now values celebrity over coaching. And Caitlin, she continues to shine. Her performances on the court remain electric, her charisma unmatched. But even she knows the storm around her is growing. Every missed shot, every disagreement, every rumor gets magnified tenfold. Because when you're not just the face of a team, but the force behind every decision, there's nowhere to hide. The same spotlight that elevated her could just as easily turn blinding. The Indiana Fever wanted to become the face of the WNBA. In a way, they succeeded. But in chasing that spotlight, they might have lost something deeper: balance, respect, and trust within their own ranks. Stephanie White is now walking a tightrope between professionalism and frustration, while Steve Simon doubles down on his gamble that star power will fix everything. Whether that gamble pays off remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the Fever aren't just playing basketball anymore. They're playing politics. So, what do you think? Did Steve Simon make the right call by giving Caitlin Clark full control, or did he just set the stage for the biggest internal meltdown in WNBA history? Can a team truly thrive when one player holds the power of an owner? Let us know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this saga is only just beginning, and the next chapter could change the Fever forever.